going to, the meeting is starting at 5:19. Thank you for all joining us. I know it's summer and we're all enjoying the last bits of it. I'd like to go ahead and at this time ask for us to approve the meeting minutes for our last meeting. We had a meeting that was in, let's see, when was the last meeting?
I believe it might have been February.
February, and actually we had one right before then. I think it was July as well, or May, when we had, sorry about that. Here it is. Okay, let's go ahead. I have the meeting minutes for June, and I also have the meeting minutes for February. So I make a motion to approve the meeting minutes for February.
Second.
All right, all in favor, raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye. Angela, is that an aye? All right, I assume it is. She's having connection issues. All right, approval, I make a motion to approve the June meeting minutes.
Second.
All right, all those in favor, raise
Aye.
your hand. Aye. All right, we've approved that. So if there's no non-agenda public comment, I'd like to move forward and move to our action item. Dawn, you have the floor.
Thank you. The purpose of this is to approve a letter to the mayor.
Hi, you guys. I just wanted to say I approve the meeting minutes as well. Sorry, I was trying to figure out how to unmute myself.
All right.
All right. Thank you, Angela.
Anyhow, welcome everyone. We're having technical issues, but we do have a quorum. The purpose of this meeting is to get approval of a letter to Mayor Gloria, which would then be presented at the board meeting on Thursday. It's already on the agenda, the question of sending it. And we didn't post the letter on that particular agenda in case we wanted to change something. The situation is this: the park Avenida de Portugal at the upper end has stalled with the city dragging its feet. And the park is been designed, all the construction issues have been resolved. It is ready to go to bid. The city says that in the 7 years that we've been efforting to do this, that the costs have risen and it has a gap on the finances. So the purpose of the letter is to ask the mayor to find funds to resolve that gap and to devote sufficient staff resources to get this park completed. Recently, the city approved an update of the park master plan, the first one since 1956. And it went through tons of workshops and so forth. It has a point rating system. And because we've been doing this for 7 years, we could be impacted by a change in the priority rating system. So we are asking the city to grandfather us under the rules we've been working under for 7 years. And the city has not been transparent on the spending of money. So we've asked for an audit, and we've asked for the mayor to approve the find the funds for a funding gap and to devote the staff resources. I've got the letter, which is 1 page. I can read it briefly and probably should. So it's Honorable Todd Gloria, Mayor of San Diego. This is a letter from Fred Cosmo, who hasn't seen it yet. Adoption of new rating priorities for San Diego parks may have the unintended consequence of wasting 7 years of volunteer and city staff effort and throwing away $1 million on an unfinished pocket park. The city of San Diego recently adopted a new master plan for the city's park system, an admirable accomplishment. Unfortunately, it may stop a 3/4 acre pocket park in Point Loma from being completed. Highest priorities under a point system will go to large recreation-oriented parks, not small passive ones. Point Loma's pocket park is on city-owned land at the upper end of Avenida de Portugal. Starting in 2014, volunteers did a massive cleanup. Mary Harder participated in that cleanup. Thank you, Mary. They found the money and obtained all necessary approvals. The park has been designed, construction issues have been resolved, and it is ready to go to bid, except the cost of the park, estimated at $844,000 in 2014, has tripled over 7 years. The city believes it has not gone to bid, so it doesn't know. Despite 7 years of work and the money spent, this park may be shoved to the end of the line and never built. The Peninsula Community Planning Board voted whatever on September 16th to ask the mayor's office to, 1, grandfather the pocket park under the old rules. 2, find the funds to fill the gap and devote staff resources to get the park built. 3, conduct an audit of how the money was spent and what remains, given a lack of transparency by the city. The Park and Recreation Department has said that it takes 6 years to build a park. Unfortunately, for underserved communities south of Interstate 8, and we are one, for underserved communities south of Interstate 8, including Point Loma, no park before its time means that inflation soars and contractors get too busy to bid on city projects. Mayor Gloria, in announcing the Parks for All of Us master plan, said, "I'm committed to ensuring that all San Diegans have access to high quality parks." This ready-to-go park, given an infusion of inflation-eroded funds and staff resources, can provide the opportunity to show the city is indeed serious about meeting its goal. Frederick W. Cosmo, Chair, Peninsula Community Planning Board. There will be an attachment, simply a chronology of the Point Loma Pocket Park. And then CC. What I was suggesting, and I'm certainly open to do whatever, I have it as representatives of the mayor's office, Park and Recreation, Public Works, Commission of Arts and Culture, City Council District 2, Point Loma Association, and San Diego Parks Foundation. So I was going to name the agencies involved, not necessarily the names or titles, but if somebody has a problem with it, that we'll go to an alternative. So that's it. It's basically a one-page letter, and then a chronology that will be given out at the meeting.
Awesome.
Oh,
Thank
okay.
you, Don, for that. I see that Mary Harder joined us. Thank you for joining us, Mary. She wanted to share, she had some comments that she wanted to share with the group, and I thought it would be appropriate at this time.
That's fine, but I mean, is that a separate item from what we have here?
Oh, no, Don. She just wanted to make a comment about the maintenance of the park. So what we typically do is you've made your presentation. So do any board members have any comments at this time? I don't. I do want to commend you, Don. Don has been very tenacious in regards to the advocacy of this pocket park. And I do want to thank you for all your hard work and effort that you've put into this park, especially knowing that our community does have a deficit in park space. And as we continue to densify, we're going to need more people advocating for park space in our community, because I believe personally, if the city has its way, they're going to want to densify every last bit and piece if they get their hands on it. So those are my only comments that I have right now. I'd like to extend the floor to Mary. She had some comments about the maintenance of the park. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'm sorry I missed most of your presentation, Dawn. I couldn't get into the Zoom.
Well,
I'm
I did compliment you in the presentation.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, thank
He
you.
was thanking you
Can
for
we
all
go
your
back?
effort. Sorry
wanted
about
to-
that.
To talk about the lack of maintenance right now and for years past. I've been contacting this year staff, Park and Rec staff via emails and get it done, to have maintenance done in the park, to have vegetation cleared. There's a lot of dead material. There's a lot that needs to be thinned out. There's just too much vegetation. It's a big fire hazard. Also, my neighbors are finding a lot of trash, which they're cleaning up. Some of it has been apparently stuff that's been stolen in the neighborhood. Like, I think there was a package that my neighbor found that had apparently been stolen from somebody's porch, and she returned it to the neighbor. Staff comes out and they're very interested. They look and they agree that something needs to be done, but nothing gets done. And a lot of it, I think, is because they're moving staff around a lot, but I think there's more to it than that. It is a big fire hazard. We just don't know what to do. And how can we expect that things are going to change because we have a dedicated park? I visited the 2 Cabrillo mini parks today. They're so-so to me. Some people think they're horrible, but they're so-so. But their steps to the Cabrillo mini park north are still crumbling. They have been for years. They're a terrible hazard. They're just awful. And the path along the path to that mini park, the north one, it's just very uninviting. So what can we expect if we have a park in our neighborhood? I would hate to see a dilapidated park in a few years after it's constructed.
Well,
Thank you. May I respond?
oh, sure. Go
Yeah.
ahead, Don.
Yeah, okay. Mary, one reason to develop this park is that the staff will be required to maintain it. And we also have this on record, the Point Loma Lions Club that wants to adopt a park, where once a year they would help tend to it. You talked about the mini parks. That's out of the scope of this meeting. We're dealing with this particular park.
Right.
The last time you brought this up, you brought it up at a meeting of the Recreation Advisory Group, and you asked the park staff to take care of dry and material that would create a fire. I walked the very next morning, I walked the park, and I saw no sign of dead growth. They were live bushes. There were complete spaces. So we have a disagreement. I realize that you live next door. I realize that you're very concerned about fire hazards. You've talked to me about tumbleweeds rolling down the hill and catching your house on fire. Bollards or rocks were placed at the Canyon Street side of the park. And you've talked to me about how could a fire truck from Station 22 drive across that open field and get to your house in the event of a fire. If I had a suggestion to make, it would be that you should call Monique Tello, Tello, who is the aide to our council member, and voice your concern. And if you've been getting blown off by the city staff or blown off by Get It Done, that's the purpose of a council aide, is to do constituent service to people who say they're getting run around by the city staff. So that's my suggestion. Thank you.
I
Well,
would-
could I say one thing just
Sure, go ahead,
to
Mary.
Dawn?
Yes.
Sure, go ahead, Mary.
Regarding the fire truck, since that conversation, I talked to a fireman who used to be stationed at 22. He said they would never drive into a field like that. They would just bring their hoses in apparently.
That's my understanding as well. Thank you.
Well, Mary, you do bring up some really good concerns. I think, you know, I'm on the Sunset Cliffs Council. I know you're very interested in parks. You're a part of some other councils, so you're aware of like the city not completely maintaining the parks up to the level of standard that I feel that our community deserves. And it is creating a hazard. I'd like to support you with that. I don't know how far we'll get, but I would be willing to forward your email with your concerns after this meeting and forward them on to Monique Tello along with you, and we can ask for some better support. Do you have those get it done report numbers that we could
I could
reference?
find, I'll look.
Yeah, if you have, and
So
that's
a
not
lot of it has been-
necessary. I was just thinking if we had
Yeah.
some info to substantiate our claims.
Some of it has been emails to the area managers. Some have been emails to the supervisor or the director at Cabrillo. One was a get it done, and I believe I got an answer that it was the get it done was forwarded to the fire department, and they've
Okay.
never said anything.
All right, and would it be 22 that would service your location? Is that your fire department, number 22? Okay.
Yes.
Let's go ahead, if I have your permission, let's go ahead and forward that request, because I do think that is a
Okay.
valid request, you know, especially in the climate. I mean, we're hearing about several fires all over. I don't think that's unreasonable, but you know, we can definitely make sure that they're maintaining that site for sure. So I can help you with that portion of it, if that's okay with you.
Okay, that's
Um,
fine.
Just going forward, when you came on the call, John was just reading the letter that we have posted to the website on the Peninsula Community Planning Board. So he was just reading that information out loud. So
Okay.
that's where we were when you came in on the meeting, just so you know. So Angela, do you have anything that you'd like to add? I'd like to go for a motion, you know, to vote in approval of this letter as is. I feel like, Dawn, you put in so much work. You're the subject matter expert when it comes to the pocket park, and you've provided us with this letter, and I think in good faith it's asking our mayor and our council representation to ask them, hey, what's going on with this park? And I'd like to make a motion to approve the letter as is.
And I second it.
Oh, thank you, Angela. All in favor of the letter, raise your hand.
Aye.
All right. And Angela, all right, let's,
Aye.
the letter is
Angela says
approved.
aye.
Thank you, Angela. All right, so we have that. Angela first, Mandy first, Angela second. And it's unanimous. So at this moment, we've approved that portion. I'd like to ask, are there any more updates for any parks in our community that you'd like to add to our parks list? I know we've had discussion, you know, we're really focusing on the pocket park right now because we've had quite a bit of time and energy put into it. But in the last meeting, I'd like to see if we can get some upgrades to Cleator Park. Their playground equipment is lacking, to say the best, and it's never been updated. And we've lived here quite a bit of time, and it's not been updated in quite some time. I'd like to see us make some requests to the city to update that community park, the playground equipment. And maybe reach out. I know that it is utilized by the Peninsula Little League. Dawn, do you know any of the Little League, the president that runs the Little League, or anyone from that organization? Maybe we could reach out to them and ask them if they have any thoughts or inputs regarding Cleator Park and any updates for that park.
That is a very, very good topic, Mandy. generally representative of the Little League is at the Recreation Advisory Group. That group goes dark during the summer and is due to, well, we're almost into fall.
Mhm.
So there's due to be a meeting at some point.
And Mandy, I've lived in Park Point Loma for 27 years, and that park hasn't changed. They've just taken away things.
Okay. Yeah, Don, I'd like us to reach out. I'd like to reach out to the Little League to see if there's something we can do to help improve that park, especially over by, the one concern that I'm really having is over by the playground. Because when you walk down those stairs, there's no railing and it's really steep. And a lot of times there's sand that gets on the sidewalk and creates this, it creates a safety hazard because the traction from the sand causes people to kind of slip out from under it. I was pleased to see, like in the last 3 months, they've removed this massive concrete structure that was there. That my own son has fallen off of it and hurt his ear quite. It was pretty gross, but they removed that, so I was encouraged to see that. But I think that park could use some TLC. So if you have any ideas, Mary, you're
do.
always.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Go ahead and speak on that, Don, and maybe.
Well, I don't want to monopolize, Mary, but I think perhaps we can request that be a topic for the Recreation Advisory Group. And we can request that the Little League president be invited to come to that meeting or send a representative. And I'll defer to Mary on further.
Yeah, I'd like to see if that would be an option. And also, Mary, we're looking for community members for our subcommittee. And so I know that you do like parks, and we're also looking for other subcommittee members elsewhere. So if you're interested in participating in our subcommittees, let me know. And we can
Thank you.
we can vote you in if you're interested in participating more. So
Thank you.
But no, I would like to do that, Don. Let's talk more about Cleator Park, and let's make that the topic of a future Parks and Rec meeting. And then we can, in the meantime, work with the stakeholders that are there at the park, at the Little League, and see if they have any inputs for Cleator Park.
Mandy, I think that's a great idea. If Formosa Canyon is filled with apartments, these people are going to park over at Cleator Park. And when the Little League has a function, they're going to find a lack of parking. And I'm not sure that Little League parents realize that that could happen. And I think that would be a message that should be delivered to the Little League reps. Because if they got parents or players arriving and they can't park, that's not going to help their game scheduling.
I would agree with that, especially, I don't know if you realize this, I had actually called park manager Cynthia Camacho. She runs Cleator Park, and I was trying to acquire a permit, and she told me that you can't get a permit for those parks for the rest of the year because the Little League has it one day, and the next day I think it's Surf Soccer or Albion has it for the second day for the remainder of the year. And so I think they would be, if they made that investment into that park, that they would want to keep it up to, make some improvements to it, and address any parking issues that may come. Because I do see that happening, with the Formosa, the parking here along Formosa, it does ebb and flow, especially with those games. And so I definitely see that being a concern as they continue to densify our neighborhood, that parking is just going to continue to be an issue as we get more populous in our peninsula. So yeah, let's work towards that. And then if you want, you'll be seeing a notice out here probably in the next few months for another parks meeting. And we'll start getting Cleator Park and make that a discussion, and ask the city for some improvements there. So
Thank you, Mandy.
It's 5:44 at this point. I really appreciate your participation, Mary. We don't get a lot of visitors I thought online in Zoom world, we would have gotten more participation, but unfortunately, that's not the case. So I do appreciate you taking time to come and
Thank you.
have your voice heard. Well, at this point, I do want to say it's 5:45 p.m. I'll go ahead and adjourn the meeting at this point if there's no other inputs. All right, with that, I thank you again for all participating, and this info will be discussed at the next meeting this Thursday. The main board meeting will be on Thursday at 6 p.m. Pre-registration is required, so if you would like to participate in that, make sure you pre-register before the meeting. All right, thank you. Have a good day, everyone. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.